Skills. Question number 1. Basic concepts of social work interviewing. Create a calm, open environment, and accepting tone is important. Being strong, open-minded, and welcoming is always a plus. The social worker can be soothing and relaxed. This can help the client if the client is anxious or tense. Listening is one of the most important skills for a clinical interview. Communication is also important. Actions of a social worker is very important because the client looks for validation from the social worker. Making eye contact is important, and reassuring the client, that is also very important. It is very important to reassure the client that the social worker is there to help the client. Nodding of the head and making verbal acknowledgments are also a plus. How questions are asked is an essential skill for a clinical social work interview. The social worker's line of questioning will have a direct effect on what type of information is shared and whether or not the client feels comfortable sharing. Basic lines of questioning include open-ended and closed questions. Open-ended questions are often preferred because they are usually the best way to get a person to open up. It is important for the client to open up because you want to be able to help the client as much as you can. Social workers are trained to understand not just how the individual operates, but how he is connected to his environment and the community surrounding him. Interview techniques with the clinical social worker may include questions about the client's family, social supports, and communities. Such questions may help to explain the larger scope of some problems, which may help the client to understand her own experiences. They may also lead to future interventions, such as connecting the client with community resources and scheduling sessions with the client's family. Question number 2. What helping processes are involved in the stages of social work practice? Taking seriously the problem of the client, being persuasive to the client, working creatively toward achievement of solutions, proper assessing needs and identifying the request for assistance from the client, offering referrals, try to reduce tension and achieve mastery over problems, explore, engage, assess, plan, implement, achieve, and attain goals, and termination. Resolve clients' problems and promote problem-solving skills. Make sure the client understands what you are saying. Explain to the client how the social worker is able to help. You want the client to trust you. You want to be understanding and genuinely interested in the client's well-being. Have motivation and be effective to reach all goals. It's okay to tell a client, between the both of us, we will conquer. What are the client's wants and needs, strengths and limitations? Motivate and work on the problem. The social worker must assess the client and understand thoroughly everything that needs to be known so that the social worker is able to help. Once an agreement is made, a plan can be set. Reassure the client that the social worker is always here for them if they would need any future help. Question number 3. Define the roles of social work and human services workers in modern society. Social work is involved in the process of making referrals to link a family or person to needed resources. Social work professionals do not simply provide information, they follow up to be sure the needed resources are attained. This requires knowing resources, eligibility requirements, fees, and the location of the services. Social workers fight for the rights of others and work to obtain needed resources by convincing others of the legitimate needs and rights of members of society. Social workers are concerned for those who are vulnerable or who are unable to speak up for themselves. Advocacy can occur on a local, county, state, or national level. Some social workers are involved in international human rights and advocacy for those in need. Case managers are involved in locating services and assisting clients to assess those services. Case management is especially important for complex situations and for those who are homeless or elderly, people that have chronic physical or mental health issues, disabled, victims of domestic or other violent crimes, or vulnerable children. Social workers are often involved in teaching people about resources and how to develop particular skills. Social workers are involved in gathering groups of people together for a variety of purposes, including community development, self-advocacy, political organization, and policy change. Social workers are involved as group therapists and task group leaders. Social workers are involved in many levels of community organization and action, including economic development, union organizations, and research policy specialists. Social workers, because of their expertise in a wide variety of applications, are well suited to work as managers and supervisors in almost any setting. As managers, they are better able to influence policy change or development and to advocate on a larger scale for all underprivileged people. Question number 4. How would an effective social worker develop a plan to assist individuals with enhancing day-to-day social functioning? Engage with the client and make an initial assessment. Engaging clients can include identifying clients who need case management services. Sometimes this is done for you if you are working in an agency in which other professionals make referrals for clients for case management services. You may also participate in outreach in order to find clients. An example might be working with homeless people and directly speaking with homeless people and offering them services. Assess the client's needs. A good assessment includes looking at the client's current functioning. Evaluate the client's mental health diagnosis, family and socio-cultural issues, as well as the individual's strengths and resources. Create a plan and implement it. Case management has many facets, including plans for counseling and for family interaction, so an organized plan is key to staying on course. Collaborate with the client as you develop the plan. Write specific goals that need to be met and include any interventions that are needed. For instance, if the client has a mental health diagnosis but is without medication, one invention would be connecting the client with a psychiatrist. This can work along with a larger goal of helping your client attain a higher level of mental functioning. Write strategies to achieve each goal. Reassess the plan and evaluate the work that has to be done. Have all the goals been met? Do you need to reassess and make new goals? Collect data by asking the client and other providers if they believe the client has met these goals, and if not, why. Discuss discharge or termination with the client. Assess why the first plan did not work and create a new refined plan. Question number 5. How do social work demo effective listening and communication skills during a clinical interview? Listen carefully and pay attention to details Take detailed notes so it is easy to recall what is said later. Pay attention. It is very important what to listen to, what the client is saying. Do not do anything that would distract the client when the client is talking. Know how to ask the right questions and gain all necessary information to help the client. Know how to use alternate tactics for getting information, such as role-playing or word association. Make eye contact when speaking to clients and those involved. Give a smile, and it can make a client feel more comfortable. Give your client his or her space for comfort also. Remember, some clients may want the closeness. Have the client's best interest. You want the client to trust you. Communicate effectively. Focus on the client and make the client feel important. Diffuse conflict and don't let it interfere with what needs to be dealt with. Do not threaten or warn, judge, or make inappropriate gestures, which all can lead to conflict. Do not raise your voice even if a client is yelling. Sometimes a mediator can be used to avoid conflict. Question number 6. How do social workers express empathy within a clinical interview? Empathy is defined as the act of perceiving, understanding, experience, and responding to an emotional state and ideas of another person. Empathy is the action of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, experiencing the feelings, the thoughts, and experience of another, of either the past or present, with having the feelings, thoughts, and experience fully communicated in an objectively implicit manner. Oftentimes there is a misperception that one must actually have shared the same experience in order to express empathy. In fact, though, empathy can be used to express compassion for the actual feelings, and this is what we as social workers can offer to our clients. Clients do not need sympathy or sorrow in most cases. They need someone to listen to them, support them, and to validate their emotions in a caring and empathic manner. Interestingly, sympathy is almost always used when consoling somebody about a death. Card stores and displays have sympathy. Even if you have experienced the death of someone close yourself, empathy may not feel like the correct word. Perhaps, then, this is an exception to use the word empathy. But as a general rule, social workers are understanding and sensitive to the problems that others are experiencing. They do not simply express pity or sorrow at another's distress, but rather they empathize with their client's feelings.